Good morning. This is WXON, Detroit, Michigan, beginning another day of scheduled telecasting.
Yes, sir, we promised you a great man tonight.
Andre, the China WrestleMania!
Hulkamania is running wild.
My God, what a run! It's not our world is watching.
The following announcement has been paid for by the new Wakuian Order.
Etep here. I know you've been asking for it, so we've got it. You want that new Wakuian Order merchandise? Here it is. T-shirts, mugs, towels, hoodies. It is all there. Tote bags, ladies and gentlemen. And if the new Wakuian Order is not your thing, well, we've got something for that too. We've got the old school Going In Raw, the Place to Be Reviews Egyptian logo. We've got the Etep and Mini Etep shirt. We've got tank tops. Monday Night Going In Raw, no protection required. We've got leggings. Ladies and gentlemen, it's there if you want it. If not, just subscribe. It's free. It always will be. Thank you very much. Good morning. Happy Cinco de Mayo to you. It is I, it is he, it is me, P-double-D, Etep Wakuian, from the Place to Be Reviews right here with all of yous. Let me welcome the chat. We got superfan Adam Shawhan in the house. Tina Bojan, classing up the place as always. Godzillionaire, happy Cinco de Drinko. Yes, sir, indeed. Happy Cinco de Mayo indeed. Cinco de Mayo literally means May 5th in Spanish, which is when this celebration of Mexican heritage falls each year. The day mostly commemorated by Mexican Americans north of the U.S. border is also celebrated in Puebla, the town and region southeast of Mexico City, where the holiday originated. This is a yearly celebration held on May 5th, commemorates the anniversary of Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire at the Battle of Puebla in 1862, led by General Ignacio Zaragoza. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the actual meaning of Cinco de Mayo, celebrated by white people across the country for reasons of just starting to drink first thing in the morning. Hail CJP. Welcome, brother. Welcome. We've got three big stories for you today, none of which have to do with Cinco de Mayo, but, it is what it is, right? So, without further ado, we should probably get into the show, shouldn't we? So, ladies and gentlemen, a word from our sponsor this morning, Dr. Weingart.
For over 15 years, Dr. I. Weingart, specialist in foot surgery, has been serving the community with quality work. Dr. I. Weingart is a specialist in foot therapy. Free consultation, and with most health insurance card holders, there's no charge for office visits, foot surgery, and no hospitalization is required for 90% of foot surgeries. Let Dr. I. Weingart's husband and wife family-oriented business and well-trained staff take care of your personal needs. Hours are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 11 to 5 p.m. Call Dr. Weingart today at 933-5400.
Let's start out right here with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is coming up, premiering tonight. So, I don't know where the bathroom is, CJ. I don't know. I've just got a jug by my desk. But let's see. Wait, you need the more you know gif. I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna make one for the show in the morning. Godzillionaire. So, alleged Marvel insider claims Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 floundering at the box office could be the beginning of the end for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, we've discussed this ad nauseum with the box office law of diminishing returns as far as the MCU entries are concerned, especially when it comes to the theatrical runs of these films. So this inside information comes amid recent reports that the film's projected box office continues to decline towards Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania territory, a film that lost, on the conservative end, $40 million for Marvel Studios. Ant-Man 3 had a budget of $2 million, that's not counting marketing and advertising, and raked in $212,974,827 domestic, $261,595,000 1,984 internationally, for a total of $474,570,811 worldwide, opening to a paltry $106,109,650 its premiere weekend. Now, the box office projections claim the film will only bring in around $115.2 million its opening weekend. That is significantly down from the initial long-range projection, where they claimed it would bring anywhere from $120 million and $155 million its opening weekend. Variety also recently predicted the film would bring in $120 million its opening weekend. However, the outlet also cited independent tracking services that predict the film will only bring in between $110 million and $118 million. Now, just for context, the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise's previous entries have financially performed as follows. Guardians of the Galaxy opened July 30th, 2014 to a $170 million weekend that ended at $773,350,147 worldwide. Domestic total, $333,718,600. And international, $439,631,547. You can see just over about $106 million difference there between domestic and international with Guardians 1. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 opened April 25th, 2017 to a $146,510,000 $104 weekend against a $200 million budget. Went on to make $863,756,051 worldwide. Domestic, $389,813,101. International, $473,942,950. You see, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 substantially outperformed the first entry by just, like I said, just about $90 million at the box office. Good morning. Good morning. We have Sheila Aliens in the chat. Hail, Miss Sheila. Godzillionaire says the regular theaters around me for Guardians of the Galaxy look decently full for the 3D, and XD theaters not so much. Hail, Chris Fisk. The age of superheroes is over. I tend to agree with you there, sir. So the story of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 centers heavily on Rocket Raccoon's backstory and the subsequent torture he and his friends suffered at the hands of the High Evolutionary, which we know has been race-swapped for this movie. We also finally see the long-overdue debut of a character that was an integral part of the Infinity Saga in the comics, but has been largely overlooked until now in the MCU. Adam Warlock, played by Will Poulter. Too little too late for him, as well as the remainder of the Guardians of the Galaxy, as this is their last adventure, and it will end unceremoniously by my estimation, as the MCU is all but dead at this point, folks. It is. It's over. Like Dandy Don Meredith used to sing on Monday Night Football, turn out the lights, the party's over. I'll get to where I think this is going to perform overall financially. I enjoyed the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie a lot. I love the cast. Chris Pratt is a natural lead. The soundtrack was also a character unto itself. The soundtrack to the franchise as a whole really helped me enjoy it even more. Even in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, when Gunn shoehorned in the chain by Fleetwood Mac for no other reason than he apparently wanted it in the movie. Speaking of Volume 2, there was a distinct dip in quality that is glaring in the second entry, but still an enjoyable movie in my eyes. For what it's worth, it also outgained its predecessor, as I mentioned earlier, at the box office by around $90 million. That being said, I don't see Guardians of the Galaxy 3 breaking over $700 million worldwide by the end of its theatrical run. If it does, I will be absolutely shocked if this movie can hit over $700 million. I see this doing, at best, Thor Love and Thunder numbers, which is around 760, I believe. Doctor Strange came in at around, I think it was 25 million short of $1 billion. I don't see this coming anywhere near that at all. CJP says, box office to the MCU. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You're absolutely right. That's, these movies are not doing well in theaters. This could be a change. But from what I've heard, early reviews, non-spoiler reviews for this, this is going to it might scare some kids, given that they show the scenes with Rocket and the other animals being, experimented on and tortured by the High Evolutionary, which to me doesn't spell a very good time for kids seeing this movie. But that remains to be seen, once we start getting some more reviews from, people we know and trust as far as reviews go. I listened to Jeremy John's non-spoiler review, and I kind of I'm interested to hear what old Grace has to say about it. But that's all I have on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move in to our next story here, shall we, after this word from our sponsor.
This is the season when you don't need a reason for doing something or nothing at all. If you could taste some, the best time of the year, all your clouds disappear. The sun gets up early and the rain doesn't fall. If you could taste summer tastes like a ballpark prank. They plop when you cook them. Summer tastes like a ballpark.
Ladies and gents, so we go over here next. We're going to talk about Jenna Ortega and how she's related to this writer's strike. Yes, she is crafty, coming up with the dance all on her own for that scene, which I never watched the show. The wife and kid watched it together, said it was funny. What kind of Randy Newman shit was that? Yeah, they did drop an F-bomb in this movie, in Guardians 3, to kind of go back to our last topic, which doesn't make sense. So if your kid loves animal torture scenes, should you be worried? I would think so. But Jenna Ortega, the striking writers mock Wednesday star Jenna Ortega. The actress' viral comments about the writing on her Netflix hit are making her picket line fodder. Ortega, who has earned plenty of critical fandom praise for her deadpan portrayal of the OG goth girl Wednesday Addams, previously made headlines for saying she helped improve the writing on her show. Jenna Ortega better be back from New York for her afternoon shift on the picket line, BoJack Horseman writer Nick Adams tweeted earlier this week. The Bear writer Karen Joseph Adcock added, "Rewriting is writing. See you at the line, Jenna." And then there was this picket line sign, reportedly from House Party writer Brandon Cohen, that was supposedly spotted by Variety. Without writers, Jenna Ortega will have nothing to punch up. So Jenna Ortega raised the ire of Hollywood writers for her comments on Wednesday. Now, during a podcast appearance, which we'll get to here, Ortega's comments stem from a March episode of the Armchair Expert podcast, where she said, "There were times on set where I almost became unprofessional in the sense, where I just started changing lines. The script supervisor thought I was going with something, and then I would have to sit down with the writers, and they would be like, wait, what happened to this scene? And I would have to go through and explain why I couldn't do certain things." Jenna added, "I don't think I've ever had to put my foot down on a set the way I had to on Wednesday. Everything that she does, everything that I had to play, did not make sense for her character at all. Being in a love triangle made no sense for her. There was a line about a dress she had to wear for a school dance, and she said, 'Oh my God, I love it.' Ugh, I can't believe I said that. I literally hate myself," and I had to go, "No." Ortega has previously noted her schedule on the show was extremely arduous, with the actress working 12 to 14 hours per day for 8 months for the 8-episode series. "I did not get any sleep," she told Variety. "I pulled my hair out. There's so many FaceTime calls that my dad answered of me hysterically crying." So here we have an actress who's relatively new to the mainstream success and notoriety that she's receiving. She makes a comment on a podcast that was probably a double-sided blade, and it ruffled the feathers of the activists in Hollywood masquerading as writers. The two sides of the blade exhibit two things from Ortega in my estimation. Number one, she's inexperienced in the game of celebrity and unknowingly insulted the show's writers by her cavalier attitude towards her improvisation of certain scenes and her interpretation, as opposed to what was scripted out by the writers and script supervisor. Now, the other side of that blade is ego, which is rampant in celebrities. Yes, the more fame one acquires, especially at a younger age, in the case of Ortega, can lead to narcissism that may have been held at bay by humility, but that's finally bubbled over the surface with the newfound fame. But what do I know? What do I know? Yes, Jenna did stir up these writers. And like I said, for writers that aren't even involved in the show to be opining while they pick it for more money is absolutely hilarious. I find it odd that I don't really know. I didn't look up how old Jenna Ortega is. But I mean, she's 20 years old. Okay. She's not a child, but she's basically a child. 20 years old, she's pissed off the writers for this show to the point where, like I said, other writers are opining on it. And I don't really know much about Jenna Ortega to say where you do other actresses, where you can tell if they're just being egotistical and saying, well, no, I'm going to play the role this way, as opposed to the way it was scripted out. Or if this is, as she stated, she thought that it wasn't the way the character should be played. Which, okay, so a more experienced actress is, going to take it upon themselves to change things a bit, which she did. And okay, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. What's up, Papa Cotton Hale? But, she should, I don't want to say she should have cleared it with the writers. Maybe the script supervisor, approach him and say, hey, look, this character is not going to act this way, and the audience is going to be thrown off. CJP says basically that she pulled a cavil on the writers that don't understand the character. Yeah, this is basically like The Witcher, if you look at it like that. And The Witcher is, like I said, this is a great example because the writers hated the source material. And, so we got a poor interpretation of existing source material there. What's up, Brightest Day? Hail, brother. Welcome. Yeah, we're just kind of wrapping up story number 2 here, as we got about 10 minutes to go on the show. But Jenna Ortega, like I said, I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't have a horse in the race. I'm not familiar. The only thing I've seen of this show is a few scenes here or there while my kid and wife were watching it, and I walked into the room and I was like, whatever. Didn't feel like watching it. So I don't know. I've never really watched any interviews with Ortega, but I've never really heard anything bad about her either. Chris Fisk, I LOL'd at Ortega, who ignorantly claimed Wednesday Addams was Latina. No, Wednesday's father was from Spain, not Latin America. If anything, she's partially Hispanic, which is white. So she's like George Zimmerman. She's a white Hispanic. According to CNN, that is. But yeah, so like I said, I don't. So it could be part ego, equal parts ego and equal parts the writers not understanding the character, and to the extent that she does, having immersed herself in the role. But it remains to be seen how her attitude is during season 2 and how it relates to the writers, when they get back to work after they're done crying about wanting more money. So that's that's where that is, ladies and gentlemen. I don't, like I said, I don't see anything new coming from this, but right, in the near future, because of the writer's strike. I mean, this isn't a rivalry. I don't think we're going to see carry on, Jenna Ortega versus the writers. I don't think that's going to carry on for an extended period of time. Speaking of extended periods of time, let's take a look here at what is going on at the Community Affairs Board on Channel 2 from Detroit.
Hi, I'm Tom Fox with this week's Community Billboard. June 15th, Non's Dance Ensemble performs Quintet, Dance of Mystery and Murder at OCC. Call 471-7700. Then June 18th, it's Action Hit Start's annual Fun Fair. Call 345-6500. And world-famous pianist Roger Williams performs at the Southfield Civic Center Pavilion, June 23rd. Call 354-4717. To be on Community Billboard, contact Channel 2's Community Affairs Department.
The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Nobody really likes The Rock anymore, do they? Does anybody really like The Rock anymore? I don't think they do. I think he's created more enemies in Hollywood than he's made allies with the way he's conducted himself recently, his actions, the Black Adam debacle, him trying to stage a coup behind the scenes, an insurrection, if you will, behind the scenes at DC, leading to a basically him being fired or, future endeavored in terms of wrestling. Brightest Day says, fun fair, count me in, right? So The Rock has been let go from a Disney franchise that nobody's even sure if he was going to be a part of, and he's also part of this $3 billion lawsuit. A new report has now indicated that the actor will not be joining the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise after all. Essentially, Sports reports that Johnson will not replace Johnny Depp in the next installment of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Though this is yet to be confirmed, Disney or Dwayne Johnson, it would make sense, and neither party has indicated if this is a result of the aforementioned $3 billion lawsuit. So The Rock supposedly was on tap to be entering the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise as a pseudo replacement for Johnny Depp. And I also heard something about him possibly not being, I don't know. I don't know if it was how true it was. I can't remember exactly where I heard it. I should look it up. But him being replaced in Moana, I'm not sure about it, but I think that would be funny if they were like, hey, look, you're not going to be in there. It says he's still, still everything is moving forward with him being in Moana, the live action version, but I don't see that as being successful. Disney needs live action. Retreads of their classic animation is sad at this point because they're basically ruining these. The live action Lion King was terrifying, to say the least. Dwayne Johnson was named as a defendant in a $3 billion lawsuit alleging kidnapping that just moved forward in the judicial system. The Rock, alongside other defendants, is being sued by Trinisha Biggers, who is also known as Raka Khan during her former TNA and WWE days, alleging she and her kids were kidnapped. In the lawsuit. Oh, Moana's only 7 years old? Well, I didn't as much mean Moana as the actual classic ones they're redoing in live action, Snow White and Beauty and the Beast and all that stuff they've done. It's sad. Little Mermaid, it is. Jungle Book, those kind of things. There, yeah. See, for Moana's like, yeah. I didn't realize it was only. I thought it was older than that. But so in the lawsuit, Biggers named the state of Texas, the El Paso Child Protective Services, the FBI, the Las Cruces, New Mexico Police Department, the NYPD, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, Chris Benoit, Michael Jordan, the New York ACS, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Inc., the Shirley Police Department, Sigma Phi Epsilon, Suffolk County, New York, The Miz, his wife Maurice, Nikki Bella, and Jim Cornette, alleging they were two accomplices in the alleged criminal plot against her. Trinisha Biggers and Dwayne Johnson have literally zero connection outside of existing in the same industry at one point, albeit in different companies and never crossed paths. But Trinisha Biggers isn't exactly the picture of sanity either. This Shakespearean tragedy stretches back to the ancient times of August 2019, when Biggers was once listed as one of El Paso's most wanted fugitives after failing to appear in court. There were 2 instances where her no-shows led to bail being revoked. She was finally arraigned in December of 2019. I would love to see Jim Cornette on the witness stand in this case. It would be absolutely great. So Kurt Angle had sex with Rocket Khan, and he won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck. Fortunately for The Rock, she isn't a metaphor pertaining to him belonging to a certain communist country that's run by a Winnie the Pooh proxy. Also, He doesn't have anything to fear from this ultra-frivolous lawsuit that is little more than revenge litigation put forth by a lunatic, and yet it's being considered logical and reasonable and thusly allowed to proceed by a court in New York, because of course it's New York. I don't personally care for Dwayne Johnson, but I still like The Rock, and this doesn't sully my image of the wrestler who used to entertain me. However, this does make the man Dwayne Johnson look hilarious, being named in a cavalcade of defendants, including the deceased Chris Benoit and the still very much alive Jim Cornette. Johnson sold out to China. He's a very wealthy man, but I can tell you what he's not, and that's a DC superhero anymore. 24 Eyes, hail. Said it's actually sad Disney couldn't pull off the live action versions. They had a huge theater versions of the movies and ice show versions that were all good for the time and made tons of money. They did. Back in the day, they absolutely did have. I remember the ice shows, and it's a mystery what the hell happened to that. Like, they can't draw for that anymore. It doesn't work. It just does not work for them anymore. I think it's I don't, the live action versions just come off as horrible. Like, I watched the Dumbo with Trey a couple of years ago. I just thought it was bad. The only live action remake I like was I never watched it. I don't care what Disney does. I hope they torch every property they own. Well, they're well on the way. They're well on the way to torching everything they own. They're basically burning it all to the ground as we speak. I mean, look at Star Wars. It's completely pathetic that they have ruined everything and just left a path of angry fans. Empty theater seats. The Broken Lizard. Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out. I really, really like the Broken Lizard gang. I do. They're absolutely hilarious. But here, let's go back to some more festive music for Cinco de Mayo as we wind things down today. There we go. There we go. Hang on a second. We got to do this too. We got to go back up here. We'll put the Cinco de Mayo cover on. There we go. There. So, I hope everybody enjoyed the show today. You guys got to let me know if you like this format or not, because, like I said, we're coming in on the 30-minute mark right now, and I don't want the show to drag on. I want to give you guys the news you need for the morning, and just kind of go on about my day. I did produce a skit with Goodstuff Comicsgate. Well, we're in the process of producing it right now. Our good friend from Mother Russia, Yuri Grabovich, will. I know the original was live action, but I'm just in context of the Disney live action remakes. But no, we're doing a skit about Indiana's Delaware County Congressman Ryan Webb. Yuri's interviewing a certain American named Image the Fantabulous. That'll be dropping soon. Some stuff with Rookie Critic. We got Saturday night's main event tonight. I'm not sure if I'm going to be on Draven's channel this evening for the wrestling show or not. But like I said, we'll be back tomorrow night for Saturday night's main event with a great crew of characters. And after that, we're going to Papa, no! We're going to play some Mario Kart, me and the wife, and Tony and his wife, and Draven. And yeah, Fisk, I know you've got a Switch, so hit me up with your friend code, and we'll throw you in the mix too on some Mario Kart tomorrow night. Probably about 11:15. I don't think we're streaming it tomorrow, but yeah. And as far as everything else goes, the demonetization, I'm in the process of getting ready to remove all the shorts that I put up. Kind of sucks. I'll lose about 60,000 views, but I'll have my monetization back probably in a couple months. But in the meantime, I am going to be starting. It'll be up and running probably by tomorrow, a Subscribe Star. So channel members, you can go over there if you still want to support the channel during the off time from YouTube channel memberships. Those will all be reinstated as soon as we can get remonetized and get that all back up and running. which at that point we'll still leave the subscribe star up, and the tiers will be the same for channel memberships. I might add some things in, change up the emojis in the chat and things like that. I'm gonna miss doing the member streams for the time being, and this, like I said, is just gonna lead to the push to start the placetobereviews.com and set that up and get over on Rumble so we can do more things that don't have to be under the umbrella of YouTube, which has really done me no favors. They push shorts and then they punish creators for doing exactly what they want creators to do, which is use YouTube like it is TikTok. So I won't be doing, if I do any more shorts, they'll be like they were, I did the voiceover stuff with Clarence Boddicker and Red Foreman, stuff like that, because I got a couple more of those planned along the way. But thank you so much, everybody, for listening in today to the Place to Be Reviews Live, the Cinco de Mayo version. Superfan Adam Shawhan, Tina Bojan, Godzillionaires, CJP, Sheila Aliens, Chris Fisk. Thank you. Papa Cotton, Brightest Day, audiobooks and science fiction, 24 Eyes. Thank you, everybody. I do appreciate it. Like I said, let me know. Give me some feedback. I hope you guys enjoyed the new format. I'm going to work on having, a guest here and there, but I kind of prefer, if we're going to do this way, to kind of stick to my format. So, yeah, that's it, gang. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. I will see you guys on Saturday night's main event. It'll be a half-hour show, Tolbat, so you have to catch the replay. YouTube doesn't like to notify anybody when I'm live because they hate me and they're anti-Semites. I'll leave you with this. I'll leave you with the Mexican hat dance. Happy Cinco de Mayo. If you're going to celebrate, folks, be safe, be responsible, be good to each other. I'm Etep Okuian from the Place to Be Reviews. I've been here with all yous. If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow.